Another benefit I consistently see,
Oh, wow.
number one growing search. There is no money you can pay.
Why are the reviews disappearing?
People who have money don't have time.
Right. The response time has to be,
You get an immediate response.
how do I get good reviews? That's kind of how Yelp started. Those reviews can be removed. Hello, and welcome back to 3D Media Life Podcast. I'm your host, Dimitri, and today I have a special guest, Kelly Miller, Director of Partner Program at Yelp. I've had her previously on this podcast. Before we were thousands of miles apart, and now we're finally together in beautiful Pelican Hill at Yelp Summit 2025. Extremely exciting times. I've been looking forward to meeting you again in person, and I think it's going to be much better than the last podcast. So welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dimitri. It's great to see you in person.
Likewise. In fact, like last time when we did the podcast, it did quite well amongst our other podcasts that we've recorded. I think it had one of the highest downloads in Spotify and Apple. On YouTube, it did well, but I can't say it was the best. And I think it was because of the way we did it. We were spread apart, so we had to do like the Zoom format. And when people are watching online, that's not as appealing. But when people are listening, they actually heard the quality of the information that we provided. And that's why I did much better. Hopefully today we're going to knock out both of those things and have the visual and the quality of content as well. I definitely know we will. So again, welcome back. We're here. And the last podcast, we've covered a lot of topics. I think we will try to do the same, but not like a continuation from last time, rather like a better episode where we have more richer content and more current content. So since last time we met, how has your role shifted as the director of Partner Program at Yelp?
So we've definitely continued to grow. There's no question we've recognized a need to respond to the marketplace. Agencies' growth has continued to explode, frankly, since 2015. Nothing has changed. Year-over-year growth for digital agencies has been over 13% on average, and that's a direct result of small businesses recognizing that they can't do it by themselves anymore. They need someone like yourself, Dimitri, to lead the way and help them make the right decisions in a very crowded marketplace. So what has that done for Partner? As agencies continue to expand and grow, we had to grow right along with you to ensure that we're in a position to provide the right support and also, frankly, keep up with the sophistication that our agencies have been, delivering for their consumers.
Yeah, and I can attest to the growth of the Partner Program. I've been, I think, from almost very beginning of it. And this is the third Yelp Summit that I've been to. And just for those that don't know, Yelp Summit is a time when all the partners come together. What I did notice throughout the years, it's first of all more partners, but it's not just more, it's more quality partners. And I think it speaks a lot. I think the agencies are growing. And when you say Dimitri's helping people, it's not just me. It's I have a big team behind me, and so do other people. And I think that's one of the big benefits of a advertiser coming to a partner rather than going directly advertising is he has a support of a team behind him rather than a single individual, which as great as they are in the local team, it's one person that doesn't have the time or the expertise to nourish that relationship and also accelerate the growth of the business. And I think that's where the Partner Program really shines. And I'm happy that you're the head of it because I've seen it grow. Sometimes the results speak for themselves, and it's we're not just anywhere in Pelican Hill. I think that also shows for people that don't know Pelican Hill, one of the best places in Southern California. I'm from Southern California. I know it quite well. And I think, a highlight that the program is really very healthy and a lot of funding is going into it, and it's growing internally and externally. All the customers that have come to the partners, that utilize the partners, experience tremendous growth, and that's why it's there and it's moving.
Agreed, absolutely.
So last time we recorded a podcast was 2024. A lot has changed.
Yes.
We've touched upon AI, we've touched upon other things, and now we're actually seeing the fruits of that technology come to. We're going to focus on the Partner Program first.
Okay.
Yeah. So since 2024, the Partner Program expanded not just in the quantity of partners, like we said, in the quality, but also in the amount of tools that are available to partners.
Yes.
And I myself, again, I can attest to it because we try to utilize all the tools available. And I think the more tools in the toolbox, the greater the result's going to be. What are some of your favorite tools that you see partners utilize?
Sure. I mean, our partners definitely have leaned in 2024 to not just the reporting and leads API and ads API reporting, but they've taken it a step further. And we recognize we needed to find additional integrations. We just recently integrated with Hatch and Zapier, and I expect that to continue to be a story for Yelp in 2025 for our partners. That being said, I think they've mastered speed to lead response when it comes to request a quote. That is our number one growing search on Yelp, and it continues to be a trend. And our agencies have done a phenomenal job of responding quickly for their clients and making sure that they're in a position to be likely to secure the job. That being said, they're like Yelp, we both recognize the quality is in demand now, the quality of the response, the tailored response. And I'm seeing that partnership will continue to evolve in 2025 for both our partners as well as Yelp and how we engage with that.
Yeah, 100%. Especially like the API. I want to touch a little bit more on that. Some people don't even know what API means. It's a way to kind of connect to the internal data on Yelp, extract it, a way to uh, interact with the advertising campaigns that are far beyond the local, like the dashboard that's available to the average consumer for advertisers. And it gives us amazing tools that allow us to be much more custom. And I think one of the reasons why that's important is as great as AI is, and I think it enables people to automate things.
Sure.
Automation is beautiful. But when you let automation run your advertising campaign, as great as that is, everybody else is using that same exact tool. So how do you differentiate yourself? And I think that's where technology allows partners like myself to come in our agency and really utilize those tools to control the campaign in a different behavior, allow it to run differently, to differentiate from the rest of the campaigns, achieve better results, have more data, a faster way to interact with customers. One of those is autoresponder, for example.
Right.
And I think a lot of partners are starting to use that ability the response time has to be as quick as possible. I think everybody recognizes that. Myself on the consumer side,
Mhm.
if I need a plumber today, like I need them not just today, I
That's
need
right.
them this minute. So I remember those times when I used to send out a message and go into the ocean of silence and wait for hours to get a response. And it's understandable. Businesses don't have sometimes the staff. They might be, especially the best ones. The best plumbers out there, they're out there on the field. They don't have the time to go respond right away. And I think the automation really helps them because they might be able to come out today. They just don't have the time to tell you that.
That's right.
And that automation allows the customer to interact with them and get the job booked. So they can even focus more on being on the field while having the response time as low as possible. That's just one example of utilizing API to interact the request to quote. So it's great for both the advertiser and the consumer. It connects people faster.
I agree.
And um, I've seen campaigns that from advertisers that had a response time 3 hours, 4 hours, or even a day in some cases. When they go to that special sweet spot under 10 minutes, magic happens. Their conversion rates just balloon all of a sudden, and that's a very big pain point of people. They say, "Oh, I get leads, but no one's responding back to me." And half of the time, not all the time, half of the time, it's when did you respond to them? By the time you responded to them, the problem has already been fixed. So it's not that Yelp's not working and you're getting not quality leads. It's you were too late to the game. People don't have time, and having tools like this, it really allows small businesses that don't have staff to address response time to elevate themselves far beyond and really grow fast.
I think AI has made that even more critical. You know,
Right.
you think about the behavior of all of us. AI is here to stay. It's not going away. Last year, you and I were talking about what will it be? What will it become? What direction is it going in? It's going to continue to be more sophisticated. And while the sophistication continues, here we are talking about speed to lead, you get an immediate response with AI. So I think that's something that the partners have done an exceptional job of, yes, addressing the speed as well as focusing on the quality, which is in demand for consumers when they're looking. So it's a win for the consumer and it's a win for our advertisers that advertise through our partners.
Right. And another way, some people dislike the automated responses as good as it's getting. People like to also speak to real person on the other side. So, for example, what we've utilized again, having an agency behind you allows you to tap into some of that staff. So our staff is can respond on behalf of our customers. That's also an available option. Obviously, the cost is going to be higher than an autoresponder, but the result's going to be also better because it's personal.
You're providing the personal touch.
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
we have actually different options. We have the basic autoresponder, we have the AI custom responses, and then we have a human person. So something a small business would ordinarily not have unless, first of all, the technology they wouldn't have.
Right.
Just to develop it, it's too cost prohibitive. Even for us to develop technology, it's not easy, and it's at a great sacrifice. We reinvest a lot of the profits into that, but we always look at the in the future rather than in the past, or immediate profits. But also like the staffing. We don't just help people with, for example, responses. There's a lot of other things. Here at 3D Media, what we try to do, and I think a lot of our listeners and subscribers are very familiar with that, is we create content for brands. We create content for the small guys that don't have a marketing department, that don't have creators helping them. And even if they go seek them out, it's going to be prohibitively expensive because they don't have the relationships. We have economies of scale that we bring to the small businesses, even medium-sized businesses, and that really opens them up to do their job.
Sure.
They don't have to run around looking for a photographer. They don't have to run around looking for a web developer. They don't have to run around looking for technology solutions, and they don't even have to focus on their ads. Even if they did, they just don't have the experience or the expertise. We've tried so many different things. We know what works and what doesn't. And the other thing is we bring all of these tools together and present it in an affordable package that makes, again, a plumber, an electrician, uh, repair any type of service-based company do their job better, focus on their craft and not all the other nonsense that distracts them from it. And I think again, the partner program really has that nailed because it really gives access to all these tools and all these services.
And just listening to, hearing you say all the great work that you've done there, it's a true compliment to what Yelp is doing to focus on AI and respond with our own tools. So you're doing the right things that ultimately will help your advertisers' experience. And I assuming we'll probably get a little more into AI in the future, so we could table that and talk. But I love hearing that you're focusing on that because it'll work right into that.
Yes, thank you. And the other thing I want to give a testament to, there are other partner programs when it comes to advertising. There's Google, there's Bing, there's Meta. One distinct difference I think that exists between all of those and Yelp, aside from the fact that Yelp is a fantastic platform to advertise on, and we'll touch upon that, but the partner program itself is fundamentally different because here I am talking to the director of partner program. If I wanted to do that at Google, that would never be a possibility in a million years. There's it's the relationship is different. Here, they're human beings that we interact with all the time. The team and the partner program, from the bottom to the top, is exceptional. Only positive things to say, and that goes not just my interactions, my team's interactions with Yelp. It's always like I hear good things. Things are getting done. It's very fast. It's very efficient, and it's very personal. And I think that translates in overall success. It's not just all those tangible things, it's also the intangible, the interpersonal relationships. I think when it's like a healthy family, when there is a when the father and mother, they interact better, the kids grow better. When the parents are fighting, the kids get distracted from everything else. I think that the healthy relationship between the partners and the team at Yelp in the partner program allows that success, that efficiency. And you guys listen. Like, I remember when I joined, there wasn't as many tools as there are today.
Right.
There were a lot of lacking things, and at times I was critical about that. That's just my nature. It's always out of love, and you guys listen, and a lot of new tools came out as a result. One of my major gripes was, I remember in the beginning, the advertisers, my customers, didn't even know from their dashboard, simple thing, that their campaigns are being managed,
Right.
and that was changed. Now it says 3D Media is managing. S- Small thing, but it makes actually a big impact. But from small to big, like API and tools and AI, all those things are being delivered. And I'm very enthusiastic about that because there's a lot more that I want. And I know I'm going to get it. It's just a matter of time. So very grateful for that.
Good.
Nice. So I want to pivot our conversation a little bit into the nitty gritty of advertising and talk about like customer behavior. I think that's very important, and that will really highlight Yelp as a platform, why it does so well. Um, what's your take on how customers like interact with the new tools on Yelp? What makes Yelp special?
I think the first thing to be able to back up is the consumers when they're on Yelp, these are high intent, ready to buy consumers. So one of the things that I think is so valuable about Yelp is we're capturing them at the most critical moment. So making sure there's a personalized experience, making sure that the content that they're looking for is provided. So there is an increased behavior expectation of having personalized connections. And our AI enhancements have certainly addressed that and responded to that. The second, which is very critical, is we're at a time where people are more cost conscious. Over three quarters of, and you're looking at all age groups, are a little more careful about when they're ready to make that decision. Um, who is the right one, and price is coming into play far more today than it has in the past. So our AI enhancements put us in a position where we're tailoring the searches, we're utilizing, neural networks that we use LLM, machine learning, and the search query is far more tailored to what the consumer's looking for. So it's a win for the consumer. It puts them in a position to be connected with the right type of information they're looking for. And it's a win for our advertisers. So you shared earlier what you did, all that work with content. When you give us the content that we need, we can use our LLMs and our machine learning and make sure that that content is connecting the right type of search. We even use that with our reviews. We're stack ranking reviews and tailoring them and categorizing them based on the consumer search. So that means if we know specifically what type of service they're looking for, we can connect them with a better review that's more relevant to that search. And ultimately, when they're ready to make a purchase, we're there for them to help close that job, or, if it's a restaurant, secure the reservation. We even get into with neural networks thinking about it's beyond understanding the nuance of the natural language, but even photos. There's so many photos on Yelp, and we could categorize photos to put the right type of photo in front of a consumer when they're ready to make that decision. So it's really exciting.
Right. I think that what you've touched upon, the personalization, that's definitely new, and I think that's kind of across all of internet today. The personalization touch and AI is helping with that, making the content more and more relevant to the consumer. And I love what you mentioned about the 97% retention. I've seen different numbers from 95 to 98, depending on the category. Don't quote me off the top of my head. The bottom line is people trust Yelp.
Right.
And when they come there, when they go on Yelp.com, they're ready to hire a business. It's like the end journey to actually spend money rather than the beginning of that journey. I hear anecdotally a lot of the times from my customers when I ask them, have you ever done an audit of your different campaigns? Which ones are more successful? And they'll give me different numbers. They say a lot of people are coming from Google. And then we dive in deeper and we say, okay, they say they came from Google, but did they end up on Yelp before they finalized their decision? And when we actually did the research, usually the answer is yes. It typically the decision ends on Yelp. And I think one of those reasons is, first of all, like you mentioned, the personalization, and that's becoming more and more relevant today.
Right.
It connects you straight to the company that you need. But on the other side is that review system that's like the golden standard on the internet. And that's actually probably what attracted me to Yelp as a consumer to begin with. I didn't start advertising on Yelp because I just wanted to get leads, to be honest, because I like the platform. On the consumer side, I trust it. The businesses will deliver better because it's so hard, almost impossible to fake those reviews. And I thought, I'm going to do a great job, and this platform will highlight me for my efforts. Because in other platforms, people fake their efforts, they fake their reviews, and I'm just one in a million, and I don't get the right exposure. I think Yelp became like a collection of the best and finest people out there in the service industry that really delivering their their best of themselves and best of their craft, and that trust, that's why that trust exists, and that's why people go there to finalize who they're going to pick. Like when they go on Google, they might do research. My drain, I keep going back to plumbers, but it's just easy. My drain is clogged or whatever.
Right.
They're not necessarily ready. Maybe they're looking for a DIY solution,
Right.
and a plumber's ad is going to come up. They might click on it thinking they're finding DIY solutions. The plumber's budget got drained, and the customer is really not even happy because they didn't really get the information they needed, someone selling to them. Whereas on Yelp, they're not looking for DIY solutions. They're there, they're ready to find a professional to come out there and fix their job. And I think it's a different type of consumer. It's the one that's uh, re- I think there's also some statistics that show the demographic is generally higher net worth on Yelp. Don't quote me on this, um, but I can look this up later and maybe put it on the screen if I find it. The fact is, the higher demographics, people recognize their time is worth
That's right.
the money, and they're not out there to fix things themselves because they know they'd rather trust a professional, and again, a professional they can trust to fix the problem for them so they can actually do their other things, enable them to go back to work faster instead of sitting there and tinkering on the toilet or the train. That's not their job. It's great that people can do things themselves, but I think it's really a testament to Yelp that it gathered the best businesses together, and it weeds out the bad ones as well. If people are not great at their craft, they tend to get bad reviews and they move on to other platforms.
That's true.
We also try to weed out customers this way. Our advertisers, our clients, we don't accept everybody to work with. We want to represent the best because one of the most famous, one of my favorite quotes, I forgot who said this, I think maybe Ford. He said that what kills a bad business faster, and I'm definitely messing up the quote, good advertising. So the faster you bring clients to a bad business, the faster it dies. And in this case, I think again with Yelp, it gives preference to better people, and we can actually talk a little bit about the reviews
Sure.
because I think that's a big pain point. I have uh, clients come to me all the time, literally without exception, all the time, and they say, "I'm losing reviews. I'm trying so hard, but the reviews keep disappearing." What do you have to add on that topic? I have my own thoughts.
Reviews are a sensitive topic, especially when you're the business owner. And I mean, this is your own report card, right? So you're looking at it. I think a few things I would remind them of is, we use an algorithm that does a few things to protect both them and the consumer. So some things to think about. Well, I can't share the secrets of the algorithm and the software that we use. We use hundreds of data points to make sure, one, that we don't have bias reviews showing. So, again, protecting the consumer, protecting the business. Two, we make sure that they're first party experiences. They're authentic reviews. So I think that is a critical thing to know. So you're earning that review. And we just actually released our most recent trust and safety report, which even talks about how we're keeping up and leveraging AI, and utilizing that to make sure we have authentic and unbiased reviews. So we're protecting our consumers, as well as the businesses.
So I can, going back to the question, especially like when people ask me,
Hmm.
why are their reviews disappearing? And I think you gave a very good answer that Yelp has this beautiful algorithm that actually does a tremendous job trying to filter out the real from the fake,
Yes.
the authentic from not authentic, and the quality from poor. Uh, and I have anecdotal evidence to support that it actually works quite well. Almost always, when people say that the reviews are disappearing, I start off with the question: have you left yourself reviews or your family?
Right.
Have you solicited reviews? And I might get not so honest answers right away. People tend to be defensive and say, no, I never do that. Real customers say, okay, let's do an experiment. Go back to your page. And if by any chance somebody that doesn't belong there left your review, delete that review and let's see what happens. And usually the case is when those reviews get deleted, the other ones come back because the algorithm basically punishes, in my personal view, the way I've seen it, anecdotally speaking, punishes businesses that try to cheat. And the precise science of that, it's not shouldn't be disclosed either, because once it's disclosed and people figure it out, it kills it. But the point is, the people that try to cheat, and it goes back to the quality of, that's why there's such a high level of trust from the consumer. When people try to cheat, that's not the platform for you. If you try to bring genuinely a good service, that service will speak for itself. And the other pain point is, how do I get good reviews if I cannot solicit them? And I think the answer is, can you get bad reviews without solicitation?
Sure.
That's an easy answer. Yes. If you can get bad reviews without solicitation, then definitely you can get good reviews without solicitation.
That's right.
Why did you get a bad review? Usually it's an emotional response. People are so upset at you that you didn't even ask them to leave a review. They went there and they showed their opinion. Exact opposite is true with good reviews. If you give them outstanding service, they want to shout, this business is amazing. I want to share to the world. And that's kind of how Yelp started. It's like people sharing their experience. People have a voice and people like to share their voice. So if you're a mediocre company, you will probably get neither bad or good. And that's also bad.
Right.
If you're a bad company, you'll get weeded out fast. But if you're the top echelon and you're really out there to make a difference and you're delivering the best, you're going to get those positive responses. And that's generally either we attract these customers to come to us because they recognize they want to be the best, not just at their service, but at their marketing as well. It's the same mentality. You want to be the best and across the board. Or when people come to us on that mediocre plane, it just takes a little bit of education and refocusing. And when we give them that education that they just didn't know about, they didn't understand how the system works or what priorities they should be setting, that's where, again, the partner program holds their hand and guides them to be better, to refocus their business, not to be mediocre, give them the time to be out there in the field perfecting their craft, and us taking care. It's sometimes just lack of resources. That's why the mediocrity exists. People have so many things to handle. I have to worry about my advertising. I have to worry about the
Right.
website. I have to do this. I have to do that. By the time you're done, you have 5 minutes to go out do the
It's
job
too
that you're
much.
supposed to be doing. And it's not that the guy is bad; he just didn't have the time, or the girl, whatever. And at least here at 3D Media, and I can probably speak for other partners as well. I've met some really top of the line people here. They will eliminate all that noise, let you work, and let you do what you're good at, and that will reflect in those reviews. And that's kind of, I think, that just a simple advice for everybody watching If you are trying to build a business on Yelp, just be authentic.
Yes.
Focus, get a partner first of all. I'm biased, you're biased in that, and it's a good reason to be biased. Uh, get a partner to help you, but also put more effort into the service and the profits, customer first. And I think that will really make a huge difference.
And I know you help your businesses that you represent with how to respond appropriately to reviews. I mean, none of us are perfect, and I think consumers recognize that. So having someone like yourself helping them respond correctly and show that you care still puts them in a position of strength to be considered. And when consumers see that, that matters too. You can turn a negative into a positive based on how you respond and engage to a poor experience.
Absolutely. I've seen businesses come to me ripping their hair out. I got a 1-star review. It's over. I lost it. And I said, no, 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 no. That's a blessing in disguise.
That's right.
Let's pause. Let's look at why you got the bad review. First of all, half of the time, uh, maybe not exactly, but figuratively speaking, those reviews can be removed because there could be a violation of policy. And if a person is well versed and the review is not appropriate, I've seen
It could be
discrimination in
flagged.
reviews.
Right.
Discrimination is a big factor. Remember, there was a service technician came out. He was of Mexican descent, and I think the customer was just racist, and
Mhm.
that was reflected in the review. Yelp was exceptional. The moment we flagged it and we addressed that they actually verbalized their racism, the review was gone.
Right.
Um, there are tools if the review is unfair to get rid of them. And that's
Absolutely.
really good. And again, if you don't know those, that's where partners come in. We know. If I had to put together like how many reviews we flagged and that were removed, it's too many to count. Hundreds. Every single month, many get removed because there are legitimately policy violations. And that's the worst thing to a business, to get an unfair 1-star review. That's really discouraging. But let's talk about fair 1-star reviews. Like you mentioned, first of all, you can address that.
Right.
People fail. I make mistakes. Everybody does. No one's perfect. And it's authentic to recognize I failed. Half the time, you can just respond to it and say publicly, here's what I'm going to do different. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. If you're legitimate about improving your business, you'll take note of it. Ironically, we don't have negative reviews because we go proactively to our customers and try to get feedback from them before they get unhappy. So if they're unhappy, we fix it on the spot. We don't delay it and wait and neglect. I've learned that the hard way from years of experience in marketing. Feedback from the consumer is absolutely essential. You should definitely know how your customer feels. But on the other hand, let's say that's just slip through the cracks. You missed it, and they left a review. If it's a genuine review, they actually give you constructive criticism. People hire consultants for that, pay thousands of dollars an hour. They did it for free for you. And if you listen, you can improve your business. You can make it much, much better. And when you respond, like you mentioned, the people see that. Not only this is real, it's authentic. The guy is not faking reviews. He's gotten a once review, but he's listening and is improving. And most likely this will not affect me because he's addressed it. On the other hand, you can also message a person directly and try to fix his experience. Give him a refund. If you screwed up, give him a refund. He might reconsider his review. It's simple as that. Half the time, that's as simple as that. Make it right. And even if they don't remove the review, just good karma. Make it right with the customer. It's very important. So I think we covered the reviews quite well. And if somebody has questions, there's always the comment section. I'd love to hear some responses, answer them, or just they could call us and we talk about that all the time. One myth I definitely want to break and bust and crash, that the reviews are connected to advertising. That's absolutely not the case.
Correct. There is no money you can pay to influence the reviews.
It's not worth it.
Advertiser, non-advertiser, it does not matter.
Right. And for us, it doesn't matter whether you spend $1 million a month or $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Just disconnect that from your head. If you want to be a good business, be a good business, and then that will reflect in your reviews. And again, there are ways to prove that. I would be delighted to talk about it for hours, but not the time for that. What's our next topic? Oh, we top industries on Yelp. We kind of switched.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, 15. That's fine. We'll rush it a little bit.
Okay.
Um, One other thing that I'd like to talk about is the type of industries that are most successful on Yelp today. Last time we spoke, it was a lot of home improvement companies. Contrary to people believes that it's like restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So have you seen any changes in that?
Yes, actually, last year when we spoke, it was a record year for new businesses opening for home services. This year and past year in 2024 beat 2023.
Oh
So
wow, even more so.
even more so. So in fact, this just came out. In 2023, there were 278,000 home services that opened. In 2024, it was 307,000 new home services being listed. So 11% year over year growth. But interesting to see in the last year, over 13,000 of those businesses, predominantly in the plumbing and HVAC industry, are women owned now.
Oh wow.
So women are evolving into this industry as well and recognizing the opportunity that exists. Very exciting to see.
I think that's fantastic. It's giving people a chance to grow into a successful business. Like I said before, Yelp is friendly to the small business, to the large business alike. Probably more even for small businesses. It's local based,
Yes.
and it's great to see diversity, and it's great. The other thing is like it doesn't surprise me honestly that home improvement is amongst the top because first of all there's that efficiency aspect of Yelp, but it encourages businesses to respond faster, and it makes sense that people gravitate. Oh, I'll get somebody right away, but also the trust issue.
Right.
You don't want somebody in your home working on your house for two reasons. One is safety, and the second is you don't want somebody that's going to screw you over price wise. And like you said, it's people are becoming more and more price changes. That's why Yelp has this great tool, Request a Quote, where you get multiple responses from businesses, so you can actually shop around a little bit and make a smart financial decision. And also, you know that the job is going to get completed at the end of the day.
Right.
If you're spending $100,000 on home remodeling, it better get done well.
That's right.
So that doesn't surprise me. Are there any other surprising categories that popped up that
Yeah,
come to your head?
there's a couple that come to mind. I know pest services, plumbing, there's a few others, but those two stood out. Request a quote searches went up, and it's the interesting piece is the cost to acquire a customer in those categories last year went down in 2024 versus 2023. So that just tells us again, it's probably going back to AI, better search query, better, more relevant connections to consumers when they're making a decision. But the consumers and the business owners are benefiting from that.
Right. And I want to actually address a very important issue that advertisers bring up to our attention all the time. They say that sometimes they disfavor Yelp because it's a lot of people shopping around. It's partially true that you will have to be conscious of the price that you're offering,
Sure.
and you have to just stay competitive. You cannot overcharge people. It's just if your intention is to overcharge people, that's Yelp is not for you. I think that's pretty simple because again, customer experience is very important. It focuses on good businesses with good ethics. On the other hand, if you do it the right way and you focus on volume, you'll get a ton of leads.
Right.
And the third thing is that efficiency aspect. If you're responding faster than everybody else, chances are people are going to be less price conscious. They just want the first business, the most active that is interacting with them. So price is not always the factor. It might be one of the many key deciding factors, but it's not the only one. It might be even third or fourth. Efficiency, trustworthiness, I think those are far better. And I think the question can be asked to anybody watching. Would you rather have the cheapest guy or would you rather have the best guy? And usually the best comes with a baggage that they're not going to screw you on price. You might pay more, but you get the value.
No,
You
I
get the
I
best
agree
value.
with you. If it's fair and you're right, time, people who have money don't have time.
Right.
And you shared early on, yes, college educated and over six-figure income is very favorable for our end users on Yelp. So they don't have a lot of time. They do have money to spend, but they want a fair estimate.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you.
it has to be value. Don't
That's right.
focus on the lowest price.
That's right.
Focus on the best value that you can present to your consumers, and that kind of alleviates that pain point of the shopping around, because essentially it could become your strength. And like I said again, volume. If you look at the greater picture, if you're amongst the top people on Yelp and you're getting the lion's share of the work, then it's not bad to have sometimes smaller margins, because you make up for it in many other ways. You can scale beyond belief. And we've seen that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Right.
When businesses focus on delivering the best service, best value, it clearly shows in growth. Um, I've seen it on our end, and I think you've probably seen it on the partner side as well. I think you guys are doing things to encourage even partners to be the best and offering best value to the advertisers, because the last thing you want to do is take away a perfectly good customer that's already advertising on Yelp and then shift them to a different program that's confusing. You want to upgrade them to a better experience. So how do you manage to have the best partners on the platform?
That's a great question. I mean, every agency is not created equal. So we're not looking to do business with every agency out there. We're looking to do business with agencies that share like values, that care about, their businesses and will create a good end user experience. So we've done some things to change. We introduced the Yap Awards. You yourself, congratulations again.
Thank
Last
you.
year, winner in core values, and this year, you clearly upped your game as a finalist in 3 different categories, for Partner of the Year, Core Values, and also Innovation. So stay tuned. We will find out, tomorrow
Looking forward to it.
the results. But again,
And Yap Awards, for people that don't know,
yes,
Yelp Partner of the Year.
yes, yes. So
Or no, Yelp. Why Yelp Advertising Partner of the Year?
yes. So it's critical for us to make sure our partners are competing to be the best at what they can be. Another benefit I consistently see with our partners is retention. Churn is a problem as things are more competitive in the marketplace and people have choices. You need to make sure you're doing a great job, and our partners demonstrate that with the retention and how long their businesses are advertising with us speaks to the great work that you and the rest of our partners are doing. So, I'm really proud of this partnership and seeing the successes that I expect will continue in years to come.
Likewise, thank you very much for the opportunity to do it. And I think the reason why we won Best in Core Values last year is because our values align
Yes.
quite well, and we recognize all the things that make Yelp great. The same reasons I think 3D Media is great. It's our team focuses on customer success to enhance the retention. We don't want somebody to just come in and out, revolving door. We're not out there for cash grabs. I think that's why we always kind of end up pivoting people towards Yelp, because for all those same reasons, and they see great success. And we've seen numbers for some clients that are beyond belief. Like one cabinets company started with us. They barely scratched the surface, doing $300,000 a year, which is, I'd say, for a cabinets company, it's not acceptable.
Right.
And they have the backing for it. Like we've recognized, they have what it takes. They just don't know how to do it. We introduced them to Yelp. We changed their marketing strategy. We created content for them. They went to $15 million a year.
That's incredible.
There was air conditioning company. Again, one person with good vision. I knew the guy's like in his heart. He wants to make a difference. Doesn't know how, doesn't have the tools. Set him up with, again, all the same things that we've discussed, a good marketing campaign, content, and of course, a channel where they can uh, promote themselves, which is partially Yelp, or actually mostly Yelp in their case. And they went from a single person that was doing the work himself to now multi-state, multi-location. I think they have 30 technicians now. And that's not possible ordinarily. And these are like success stories that shouldn't be common, but they are common, which is great. I love seeing this. And I hope we continue to make a difference. And that's why we have invested in lots of technology. I think that's why Yelp recognized us for invest in innovations. And to be honest, like I was actually more excited to win best of the year, best in core values last year, because to me, sometimes being best partner of the year, it sounds like you have to be the biggest. And that was never our priority to be the biggest. But at the end of the day, I'd be excited if we take this, if they
You
take that
don't hurt
title.
it.
Yeah. It's great that we've diversified our nominations this year. It just shows that we're doing lots of things, not just having good values, but we're actually innovating and we're doing different things to advance our clients. And again, I'm blessed to have this partnership with Yelp. The whole team is. And we're excited for the future to come. I think we will have what's there to look forward to in 20. You have some glimpse for us?
I think we'll just have to do another podcast.
Okay,
How's that sound?
that's a great idea. We'll maybe make a tradition.
I love it.
Next year, we have another summit, and it's much better to do this in person. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for doing the podcast, and cheers to success.
Cheers. Thank you, Dimitri.
Thank you, Kelly.